How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Creators Process. My name is Jaden, and right next to me I have Eve. How are we doing today?
Really good, thank you.
That's good. And I want to say, first of all, thank you for inviting me into your home. And, well, we just did a really great photo shoot, so thank you for doing that. And also thank you for taking the time to come onto my channel and talk about your process as a model.
No, you're so welcome. I'm really flattered that you asked me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I like I said, I love your work, and for me, I have seen the work that, a big shout out to Thomas, because we so happened to be wearing the same shirt. That was all completely by accident.
Yeah.
So shout out to Thomas. We'll links to his merch in the description. But I saw the work you did with him, and absolutely amazing stuff. So, I had to message you saying, hey, let's actually create art. Let's do something cool.
Thank you so much. And a lot of that credit to Tom, because he's an absolutely amazing photographer, and highly recommend anyone work with him. But you know that because you've met him as well.
Oh, absolutely. I would.
But yes, thank you.
That's okay. And so I guess, let's to start off the video. I think I've already said to the viewers what you do, but for people who don't know, what do you do in the creative industry?
So I do just freelance modeling, just casually in my spare time, essentially. I tend to do a lot of boudoir or art nude, but done a few conceptual shoots as well, sort of like what we did today. And yeah, it's just something that I enjoy doing in my spare time.
Fantastic. And how long ago did you start that journey?
I started maybe around September 2019. Yeah, just with a friend who I went to uni with. I dabbled in photography a little bit with him a few years beforehand, but it didn't really eventuate into anything. And then at that time in my life, I kind of needed another creative outlet and kind of thought, well, why don't I give this a bit more time and attention? Give
it a bit more of a creative journey.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Let's just dive on into it. That's amazing. And so, I think you said that you use it as a bit of a creative outlet. Is that some of the reasons why you've wanted to give modeling a try, because you felt like it was a creative outlet for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I used to spend a lot of time doing sort of music, and that was sort of my niche for a while there, but I sort of just fell out of that just because life happens, and
yes,
I got a bit busy, and I'd seen a lot of really awesome models on Instagram. I had a lot of really talented photographer friends, and I just kind of went, this is a really awesome community that I'd like to be a part of, so why don't I just
be a part of it?
Just dive on into it and see what happens. So
that's amazing, and I think you're definitely right there. We do have a really great, amazing community that, and I think for me coming into it as well, nearly 4 years ago, I was so happy to be involved with it. It's kind of I'm so happy to be here today.
Yeah.
It's such an amazing feeling, and it seems like you've really want to join such a very positive community where you get to create amazing work and get to meet some really great people.
Yeah. It's very wholesome, and I just feel like it's such a snowball effect. You shoot with one person, and then someone sees that, and you're shooting with that person, and a lot of it intersects, and I haven't had a bad experience at all in the Melbourne scene, which is,
That's really great to hear. I think it's always disappointing for me as a photographer to hear when, I've talked to a model and they've had some really bad experiences, but I'm really happy to hear that a lot of your experiences have been quite positive when working with other people. No, that's really great to hear. And when it comes to with your modeling style, so you say you shoot boudoir, you shoot fine art nude, and you do some conceptual stuff and all that sort of thing. What are, I guess, some of the things that inspire you to model? What are some of the reasons why you, in a way, wanted to get into modeling per se?
Well, firstly, just started off by being inspired by a few people in particular. On Instagram, there's this girl called JB Doll. She's a Japanese-Korean model. And I think she's the first model I remember really seeing on Instagram that just stood out to me, and I just went, oh my god, this woman is amazing. I probably lack the the terminology to adequately describe what she does, but it's a lot of boudoir, a lot of sort of risque modelling, a lot of outdoor street shoots. And I don't know, it just all seemed so raw and humanistic, and we messaged a little bit and she was just a lovely person, and I went, oh my god, like,
wow,
that's super inspiring, and I just kind of wanted to
be like in her style,
just learn a little bit more about that. And I also saw a bunch of body positive, like plus size models on Instagram, which I'm all about, because as we were talking about earlier, there is sort of a generic type of model that you know, you see everywhere. Sort of the default, you know, type of
absolutely
person that one would shoot with, which is absolutely fine. But I'm more about intersectionality and diverse representation, and I saw these amazing versatile women and went, that is something that I'd really like to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, like I've talked to some people, and, you know, like even I think definitely in the life drawing community there's so much like diversity in their models and all that, which I absolutely love, you know. And sometimes, as I said, in like photography, like I know a handful of photographers who will shoot with diverse models, but sometimes I feel like there is a bit of lack, because they, like, at the end of the day, like, I think it's at anyone's choice of who they shoot with and all that sort of thing, but I love to follow photographers and people who work with diverse people, you know. And I think that's why I love people like Thomas, who works with the diverse models, and a few others, because I think that is because, you know, you want to spread positivity through this community and spread awareness, saying that it's, you know, okay to be who we are at the end of the day. Because if you, like, I think I was talking to someone, if we keep shooting with the same generic people, then it becomes like that is the norm, you know what I mean? And then it kind of gets lost in translation, going, oh well, you know, we want to represent body positivity, but then it's like we keep saying the same thing over and over again. You know, it's like, so it becomes quite a, you know, I think that's sometimes why you might have, like, you know, you know, a lot of people are self-conscious with what they look like and all that sort of thing. And so that's why I think for me, I always try and be inclusive, because I think that's important to me.
Oh yeah, that
being that,
absolutely comes across in your work. And I mean, it's so much diversity out there, but if you're only going to see a very small, you know, sample group time and time again, you know, I don't think that's healthy or realistic at all, actually. So, because
at the end of the day, we're all different.
I mean, and it should be about celebrating difference, because that's what makes us unique. And
celebrate diversity, you know, celebrate our differences, not put us down for what, you know, don't put it down, you know. It's more about celebrating it, that we're all different.
Exactly, and everyone's beautiful, and it should be about showcasing that.
Absolutely. Eve's right on top of it. And so I guess, you know, when it comes to, when you do your photo shoots, so when you work with someone, most of the time do they have an initial thought of what they're wanting to shoot with you, or are you able to bring some of your creativity style into what you do? Like, what is your process when it comes to working with people?
Most of the time, a photographer will reach out to me with a specific idea or a concept in mind, and we sort of go from there. And if I have some suggestions, sort of work that in, because, you know, it's a collaboration, you both sort of meet in the middle. But I'm used to working with a specific, you know, theme in mind, like dark and moody, or it's going to be art, nude, like outdoors, etc., etc.
Yeah.
We usually have a starting point. I have done a few shoots where people say, "Well, just do whatever you want," and that's, in a way, I found that really tricky, because
giving you all the power.
Paradox of choice. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do in those situations, which was funny, because you'd think that would make it easier, being able to do whatever you wanted. But usually there's a starting point, and then we just sort of take it from there.
And then it expands in a way.
Yeah, and then it's very fluid, and you might end up with something totally different to what you initially wanted to capture. But that's
all part of the creative process.
Part of the fun, yeah.
And so you like working with, like, obviously by the sound of it, it sounds like you work with. You like to work with a story behind it and meaning in your works and all that sort of thing. Like, do you find it a bit more like when you are working with something that you can relate to and all that, do you find that you're able to bring out a bit more of a personal approach towards the shoot and all that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. I mean, if the shoot is centered around, you know, a theme that's personable to me, of course, it's going to feel more authentic, and I think it'll come across that way in photos like what we did today, for example.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And definitely, if I have your permission, I'd love to show a couple of them in this video if I have your permission to do that.
Absolutely. It's on
Awesome.
camera.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, like I think for me as a photographer, I love creating photos with meaning. Like I think, I just, I don't know, like I think it needs to have a really strong meaning or symbolism in it, because like I think photos, I kind of literally take it as, the whole thing, a picture tells 1,000 words. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah,
just go, here's a picture, this is what I'm trying to do, and what is it, how do you feel? And I definitely think in today's ones we were able to capture that strong emotive feel, so all big ups to you for that, so thank you for that. That was absolutely amazing, and I look forward to the next time we get to do another shoot together, because we have a couple of ideas brewing, which will be really good.
Yes, likewise.
It's going to be great. And so do you have many, in the near future, do you have many other shoots coming up? Like, do you have any projects that you're working on? Like, what are some of your...
Yeah, I have a couple. There are a few people that I really want to work with that I need to get back to. Life just got in the way a little bit over the past month. But I have a shoot coming up next week as well, which should be another boudoir shoot.
Cool.
This is the first time I've done a shoot at my home, which is exciting, and that one will also be here, so it's going to be fun to sort of figure out what I want to do with this space again. And then some more art nude shoots probably next month is all I have planned at the moment.
Fantastic. Yeah. So it sounds like you have some really cool projects to look forward to. It sounds really great. And I'll ask as a final question, I like to have my guests, I'd like to ask this question to my guests. If, like, for example, if people are watching who want to start modeling themselves or anything like that, and they feel a bit nervous or anxious about it, like, what would your advice be for those people? I
would say that it's totally normal to feel really anxious.
Yeah.
It'd be a little bit weird if you didn't.
Yeah.
But if it's something that you want to explore, want to do, just really try and push through those initial feelings of fear and anxiety, because at the end of the day, if you don't like the work, no one has to see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, and like, I know for me, for my first shoot I was terrified, but I actually had a wonderful time, and just from there this all sort of started. I mean,
unfolded. Yeah.
I mean, usually photographers, like I said, I haven't had a bad experience with one, are super understanding, and they're used to models, it being their first time, or having feelings of trepidation and anxiety around a shoot. So that's normal. So if you're a little bit hesitant but want to give it a go, just dive in, because I think you'll probably be very happy with the result. If you want to get into it, maybe try speaking to someone that is already in the scene, because it's important to work with people that are doing it for the right reasons. Getting references is super important. When I started my Sangfreud Instagram, the first message I got was from like this scam page, and it was a scam that apparently a lot of people had fallen for, actually, and they'd lost a lot of money and had some photos that were not consented to being shared on the internet as well. And that stuff is out there. There are some real creeps on the internet, so just trying to be wary, but knowing at the same time that there are a lot of good eggs out there like yourself who are doing it because they just want to collaborate with people, be creative, and captivate some groovy stuff. So
absolutely. And I think that's really like I think I did hear some stories about those scammers going around asking for photos, and they didn't they took their money or something like that. And
they're
it's
pretending that you're we want to take you to New York and have you on this magazine, but we need to see photos of you naked first. No photographer that's worth their salt is going to send you some crap like that.
That's it. Always definitely reference check, and like as you said, double check to make sure it's actually a legit person, and to actually make sure, because as you said, unfortunately there are bad eggs out there, but then there are some good eggs. And but no, definitely I would agree with you with reference checking, because you want to have a positive experience. You don't want to have the experience where you just reflect on it going, oh gosh, why did I do that? It's like, because that would be awful. That would be such
absolutely.
a bad, because I've heard that happen so many times. And
it's meant to be an empowering process, and people like that make it incredibly disempowering.
Absolutely. And it makes it really disappointing, because you just go like, man, like, why would people do that? Like, and why are people going out of the way to do this sort of stuff to people and make people purposely feel uncomfortable? It's like, we can never understand what goes through people's heads sometimes.
But don't let that put you off.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And it's, but no, I think all of that is, good advice. I love that. No, thank you for sharing that with everyone. And, well, I want to say, first of all, a huge thank you once again for coming onto my channel and talking about your inspiration and process of modeling. It was really, really awesome.
No, thank you so much for having me. I had so much fun today, and this has just been fantastic. So thank you very much, Shaden.
Oh, that's okay, and it was my absolute pleasure. I've wanted to actually, as I said for a while, I've actually wanted to message you for a bit. I just was trying to get around to doing it. I'm like, oh no, you know what? Today I'm gonna message Eve and let's plan something. Let's do it. And but no, it was my absolute pleasure. So thank you. Like, I can't wait for the next time we get to work together.
Likewise.
Oh.
Hopefully the first of many.
Oh, absolutely. You're not getting rid of me that easily. I'm gonna say that. We're gonna be working together a lot more. I can promise you that. And so everyone watching, thank you so much for watching another episode of The Creator's Process. If you want to check out Eve's incredible work that she's done with photographers and artists, go and support her pages down below. I will leave links to all of her stuff. Go and show her some support. Let's support the local community. Let's support each other's dreams. Let's lift each other up. Celebrate our differences, our diversities and all that sort of thing, because it's about creating an incredible art community at the end of the day, and I think that's what's important. Absolutely. And comment, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next episode.